Hi, everybody. It's me, Gloria Este-FAN. Welcome to Let It Loose with Carlos, Rob, and Wes. Don't miss it.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Let It Loose, our season finale.
Oh my God.
Can you believe? Oh, by the way, my name is Rob,
Oh,
I'm Wes.
I'm Carlos.
And I'm Laura.
and today we're doing a really big celebration. We're having a really big party. It's party time. We are celebrating everybody except for Wes's favorite album, Destiny,
Please.
because Destiny is turning 30 years old, which is also my age.
That is
7 years
crazy.
ago.
If you only knew how many copies, if you only knew how many different copies of Destiny I have from all over the world, you'll be able to tell that I don't hate it.
All right, let's find out. And to help us have this conversation, we have somebody who really worked really intimately with the Destiny album, somebody who's really connected to it, somebody who really resonates with the lyrics and the music and the story of the album. I can't wait for you to find out who it is.
Who is it? Who could it be?
Who could it be? Beats me.
Beats me.
Do you want me to say it? I don't know that I can.
No one.
No.
No,
I'm
no, no.
nervous.
Well, it was my vision all along. Well, in my dreams.
All right, Miss Cleo.
Who's Cleo?
Oh my God.
Wes has no sort of point of reference for any sort of pop culture or anything. Today he said, "Who's Voldemort?" He said, "Who's Miss Cleo?" I would love to be as offline as Wes is.
You tell me some stories about Gloria, Michael Jackson, some like pop music. I got you.
And yet I am the most chronically online person that you'll ever meet. I know who Miss Cleo is through and through. Laura may
I mean,
not
I've
because
heard
she's a
it.
very American icon.
No, I'm not.
Icon. No. She's a psychic.
You don't
That's
remember Miss
why.
Cleo from back in the day?
Oh yeah, with commercials.
Oh
Yes.
yeah. hmm
Oh
I feel like
yeah.
Miss Cleo would have loved the Destiny album because, she's always talking about your destiny and following the path of the right love and, he's not the daddy, but whatever. But like I think Miss Cleo would have really resonated with the music and the history and the story of the Destiny album.
I can't keep a straight face with all of this mess right now.
Can you imagine if
What
Miss
mess?
Cleo would have told you 20, 30 years ago that we would be doing what we're doing right now? Would you believe? Would you believe her?
No.
Not at all. Well, because
Mm.
also Miss Cleo was una charlatana through and through. So I would not have believed anything she said to me.
30 years ago, I was probably like on spin 100 on the Reach CD maxi single that had been released. That you should see it now, how worn out it looks with the cover art. That's a 13-year-old Wes going through
Oh.
the Reach era. Yeah.
Oh, that was a fun era though. So
Oh
I
yeah.
think this episode is going to be a lot of fun, and I think we should just get right into it.
Let's
Let's
jump
do
right
it.
in.
Let's do
I'm
it.
excited.
For decades, the world has known her as a superstar, a multiple Grammy winner, Kennedy Center honoree, Songwriters Hall of Fame inductee, Presidential Medal of Freedom recipient. Honestly, if we listed every award, this episode would become a six-part miniseries. But today, we want to celebrate something beyond the awards. Because through the music, Gloria Estefan brought people together, different countries, different generations, different stories, all connected through songs that became part of our lives. And honestly, this podcast is proof of that. What started as fans sharing memories has become a global community built around music, connection, and shared experiences. So, for our season finale, we're celebrating the 30th anniversary of one of the most beloved albums in her catalog, an album that sold over 1 million copies worldwide and earned her a Grammy nomination for Best Female Pop Vocal Performance. Welcome to the Let It Loose Destiny Deep Dive with the one and only Gloria Estefan. Yay!
Yay!
Welcome, the
Oh
Conga
my
Queen.
gosh.
Thank you
First
for
of all,
being here.
congratulations.
Oh.
Uh, I've told you that I get a little embarrassed listening to the podcast because, I don't like being the center of attention. So imagine hearing all the beautiful things that you all say, and it really makes everything so worthwhile to know these things because, I can try to do whatever I want to do and then sometimes never hear back. Um, Sales are kind of a gauge, but that really doesn't say it, especially in the streaming world now because we sold a lot of albums, but we didn't know how many times those albums were played.
Oh, that's true.
And now
Yeah.
we do. So thank you all the fans worldwide that gave me so much love and support through the years, ups and downs, whatever happened. You've been there for me. So I truly appreciate this. And I am in awe of what you guys are doing. I know the work that goes into this. So I know more than anyone what it is you're doing. And it takes a lot of work,
It's a
especially
la-
with your busy lives. So thank you.
it's a labor of love, and we've enjoyed every
Yeah.
moment of it.
Yeah, we're having a great time. And it's also been good because we were friendly, but now we're like closer than ever. So it's been really
Mhm.
great to, that hashtag
Family.
Gloria brought us
Yeah.
together is we use it all the time because it's true. It absolutely is
I love
the
that.
case.
I love
But
it. Thank you.
anyway, how has 2026 been for you so far? I know you're working on Basura. I know that you're in deep in rehearsals.
Yes.
How's everything going for you?
Oh my gosh, it's great. Honestly, what I cannot complain. Everybody's healthy. So that's number one and the only important thing that really matters in the world to me.
Mm,
The family's doing great. Sasha is just graduating from middle school with 3 years of A pluses in every class for 3 years.
That
On
is
top,
amazing.
That
yes,
that
on
is
top,
awesome.
it's incredible. So, he's my pride and joy.
mm.
Emily doing great, also working. She's got a concert coming up in Spain.
Yes.
I
Laura,
know.
yes.
Wow.
Laura?
Super excited about that. But the best thing has been this stretch with the final stretch on Basura. We've been working 4 years on this. And I was telling Greif last night that it's probably the most fulfilling creative project that I have ever done in my life.
Wow.
And
Really.
I love that it's at this phase of my life because quite honestly, I couldn't have done it before just because of my time. The
Mhm.
kind of
Hmm.
time that this takes and the kind of concentration and focus and it just wouldn't have been possible before. So to have that opportunity now and to have it together with Emily, which my secret wish was to spend more time with Emily when I invited her to do this. And that's exactly what's happened. And our creative team is a blessing. Our producers are beyond great. They've given us so many tools to really, make this what we dream. And I can't wait to put it out in front of the public May 30th. It starts and we're here in Atlanta, which is a very special place for me because Reach, hello, 96
That's
Olympics,
Yep.
right.
30
which
years ago.
was on this album, no?
It
Yes.
was.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. I got to refresh, but and I remember that day that we were locked in the stadium since 5 a.m. We couldn't leave because if you remember, there was a bombing
That's right.
at the
Oh,
Olympics.
that's right.
Hmm.
Exactly. And we were locked up tight. Once we were in there, we were in there. And there's some funny stories about that song. When we get to the song, then maybe we could delve into that. But there was some
Okay.
craziness
Great.
behind the scenes. And then Father of the Bride, 2 months that I spent here shooting it during the COVID bubble.
Hmm.
That's
And
right.
I fell in love with Atlanta. And to have this be here now, it's just so many milestones in my life in Atlanta. Yeah.
Nice.
So it's awesome. And I'm really, really happy. Emilio's great. Everybody's great. What can I tell you? No complaints.
That's awesome. So, one of the most beautiful parts of doing this first season of Let It Loose has been hearing from fans all over the world share their stories, memories, and emotional connections to your music. What has it been like for you listening to all those stories and hearing firsthand how your songs and you as a person have impacted so many lives across different generations and countries?
I told you, I get embarrassed. My cheeks get red. I literally blush. And, I've listened, I've got to catch up on the last two before this one because I've been so ensconced in this project. And by the time we get home, we're like fried and a half. But every time I listen, as an artist and as a as a kid, I think the only thing I wanted to do was inspire people in some way. Uh, that's what music did for me. It saved me on so many multiple occasions. Other people's music got me through the most difficult times in my life. And that's why, for me, it's such a privilege that I don't take lightly when I put
Mm.
stuff out into the cosmos, into the universe. Uh, and I never really got to hear the kinds of things that you guys talk about because, yeah, fans are great. They write me fan letters. I've read them. They're beautiful. I hug them. I love to feel their energy. But the deep dives that you guys go into, I am incredibly shocked at how right you've gotten a lot of this
Oh, that's
because
good.
Yeah, that's
absolutely.
awesome.
Because there are intentions every time I put an album out, and all you can do is pray that those things get through. And even though it's not for me something final, because I know as an artist that not everybody's going to get it, not everybody's going to understand it. Some people will take it their own way. We know we're in a divided world. It's kind of like 50-50 down the middle. We're really
Right.
in a very unique,
Yes.
Mhm.
although it's probably been that way all along. We just know about it now.
Yeah, like half of the country knows what Love Toy really is about.
Yes.
The other
Oh my God, I had so much fun doing that song. I have a sick sense of humor, so you can only imagine what was
Uh-huh.
happening behind the scenes on that one.
Hashtag Cubans do it better.
Oh
God,
my God, it
Oh,
was
we would love to hear that.
one of my favorite songs, by the way, too. It pushed me out of my comfort zone in a way, and I know we're not talking about that album, but now that you brought it up, the Jerks, which were the
hmm.
producing team with Emilio on that album, uh, they really had a very clear vision of how they wanted the vocals to sound, even though I always have final say and did everything that I wanted to. But they really made me try things that I had never done before. And every step of the way you grow, every time you do something that's a little bit uncomfortable. I mean, I tell people that right after I had Naib, I wanted to like lose weight and I wanted to be more loose in the band because I was now the front man kind of. And I took a modern dance class in FIU at 8 in the morning so that I would get up and go. And the opening shot from this teacher was a giant gymnasium. We're all in there. They put everybody around the gymnasium and then they go, okay, we want each of you to do an interpretive dance down the middle of the friggin' thing of that. And that was, it was horrific for me, horrific, but I did it.
I always wondered when, because you've talked about that, taking those classes before. I just didn't know the timeline, so I didn't
I
realize it
had
was.
just had Naib.
But this was
There was-
already after you've done so many things, and
Yeah,
you were
but each,
still feeling that feeling.
absolutely. And I
Okay.
always, listen, I like to do things well.
Hmm.
So I knew that in those weak points, like dance or whatever, I mean, I can dance naturally. My body just moves to music. There's nowhere that I'm listening to music and I'm sitting still. It doesn't
Hmm.
matter where I am. Like my body will move along. But I just wanted to get better and have more tools. I started taking voice lessons when I could afford them. Naive had already been born when that happened with the incredible Gina Moretta in Miami. She was from La Scala de Milan and she saved my voice and my life with those lessons. And so I thought, okay, let me take some movement. I took public speaking at the UM to kind of like bring me out of my shell,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
communications was my one of my majors. So I just try to each time learn. I learn every day of my life, and I'm excited about learning always. So I always tried to push myself because I had performed for a lot of people and one person, and that one person is harder than to perform
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
like the masses. I just try to get better at all those things. So yeah, it's been a process, I can tell you.
Mi parte la voy a hacer en español, así
Bueno,
para
perfecto.
los fans que no entienden inglés.
Venga el
Tenemos un poco
español.
para todos.
Ok, qué bueno.
Antes de entrar en materia con Destiny, ¿qué se siente al saber que este álbum cumple ahora 30 años?
Me parece mentira. Es que el tiempo pasa tan rápidamente. Creo que por la velocidad de la vida que hemos vivido, Emilio y yo y nuestra familia, hemos hecho tantas cosas que parece como un pestañazo. Y yo todavía me acuerdo disfrutando cada día en el estudio con Destiny y saber que tengo 50 años en la industria y que ya ese disco tiene 30 años, me parece mentira. Pero así es
Sí,
el tiempo hay que aprovecharlo en cada momento. Lo he hablado en varios temas de mis canciones,
Sí.
de
sí,
cómo el tiempo pasa
sí,
y tratar de recordarle a las personas que no pierdan un momento de su vida, porque en 2 minutos
se
todo
te
pasa.
va.
Yeah.
Sí.
Y me parece algo increíble que sean 30 años, de veras. Sí, Emily es mayor que ese disco, así que imagínate.
Yeah.
Es verdad.
Have you had a chance recently to revisit any of the songs
I
or
did.
memories from that
I
era?
did my homework, baby.
You did your homework, all right.
I did. I don't like to
Yeah.
be unprepared. And I was actually very happy with what I heard. I listened to the album again because I don't normally listen to my own stuff.
I know.
The
Mm,
Gloria album, I like when I'm in Vero and I'm gonna go walk or ride my bike. That's a moment where I kind of revisit things just to see. And the Gloria album is what I thought about like a constant movement.
mhm.
But I prepared. I dug back and listened to the album, and I was very happy that I still love it. I mean, it's I've never listened back and gone, oh, so that's a beautiful thing. That's a great thing. It's the best.
Just the vocals, the music, the arrangements, everything about that album is just gold. It's
Mm,
perfection. I
beautiful.
can't pick anything apart because there's nothing to pick apart.
Oh,
It's
thank
just
you so
absolute.
much.
It's my favorite album. And
Well,
it's what's funny about this specific album is whenever I've done polls or whenever there's been polls of favorite albums, it's usually Destiny's on top, tied with the Gloria album. Those are the two. A lot of people want a Gloria Part Two. Just throwing that out there. Everyone's always saying a
I
Gloria
know,
Part
I
Two.
know. Well, to me,
But
Miss
Des
Little Havana was a little bit of a
right.
going in that direction.
Hmm.
But why? I want to know what is it for you about that album? Because I can tell you what was the intention and how that happened.
Which
Well,
one?
that's
But
great
I'm
because we were
The
curious.
about
Gloria?
Destiny,
about Gloria or
Destiny.
Destiny.
No,
That's
Destiny,
perfect because
Des
we're
Destiny.
about to dive into
We're
it,
gonna
and
dive
so
into
we
it.
wanted to know
Yeah.
going into the recording process of like what was your vision for the story of that album? Like, what did you envision
Right.
going into it?
Okay, so you got to think back that we had done Let It Loose, we had done Primitive Love, and that was an era that was very loopy, right? It was
Hmm.
just the sound, but we created our own loops. And the fascinating thing was that Joe Galdo, our amazing, one of the jerks that was a drummer. He played for Foxy. You remember Foxy? He was the drummer. Get Off was one of their big hits.
Hmm.
Get Off. Anyway, you can do a deep dive on that later. But it was that era, the 80s was very synthesizer, very, and we were excited about it. But then came Mi Tierra and Abriendo Puertas. And to me, Gloria, little Gloria Fajardo, music has always been very organic.
Mm.
And the first stuff that I ever sang in my life was songs for my grandmother and my mother that were from ancient Cuba. There was a song I used to sing for my grandmother that was from the year 1895. They talked about that. So it was always very acoustic instruments. Remember I played guitar and I took 2 years of classical guitar, which I suffered through because I really just wanted to sing and accompany myself. But my dad and my mom really wanted me to have that background. I'm happy for it. I'm glad that I got that knowledge. But after doing Mi Tierra and Abriendo Puertas, I wanted to now, at that point in my career, we had already had a bunch of albums. You know how they say the first one breaks through. If you're lucky to get a sophomore album, great. You're not cemented until the third one. Those things are gone now. Like
Yeah.
it's a whole other
Yeah.
world. But that's
Yeah.
how it was back in the day. So I had done all that. And I go, you know what? I'm going to really bring back all the organic nature of Mi Tierra and Abriendo Puertas, but bring it into the pop world in English.
Mm.
So it was, and at the same time, I had had Emily. So this miracle had happened to me, and I really wanted to dig deep on the spiritual side of life.
Yeah.
So every one of those songs, even Party Time, which I love the album version, I'm sorry, way better than the single because that was the intention of that song.
Fantastic. That was one of our
You just
questions.
Yeah.
answered a question.
People ask
Okay.
me a lot. Yes, they
I'll tell
ask
you
me that
because what
question a
happens
lot.
is you do this album, you do this thing that you love and adore, and then the record company comes and says, "Oh, but we need like a single version, and it has to be more up tempo, and it has to be more like your fans are used to, and it has to be more that way." It's not that I didn't love it; I had a great time doing it, but to me, the intention was what we put on that album. So
Right.
that's
Yes.
my particular favorite. Don't take it personally. I'm fine with you having other ideas.
People
So
love remixes from that album. It's like they want those remixes
I
so
know,
bad.
and
Yeah.
remixes are great, good for them, you
Yeah.
know. But I remember having a personal beef at the time that they would like speed up your vocals, and I go, I sound like freaking
Mhm.
Minnie Mouse. So we resang a bunch of stuff because I was not having the Minnie Mouse speeding up of
Hmm.
a song. But that was very spiritually intended. Every song on that album, to me, is sharing a belief or a depth, you know, even in Higher, which is a fun song, we're really talking about reincarnation there in that song. So, you know, and Larry Dermer, which did, listen to the lyrics now and you're going to know, you're going to see.
It's
We
it's
can,
funny. Well, when we get to that, because Billboard described it as something else, but we'll get to that when.
well, Billboard never gets it right, pretty
Yeah,
much.
clearly.
It's really hard for anyone to really get stuff right. And by the way, early on in my career, they hired this, like a consultant for
Sure.
PR and try to get into things like Rolling Stone. And he literally told me, listen, unless the writer is really snarky and mean, Rolling Stone will not publish an article by a critic.
Mm.
Wow.
So that's, and I don't read reviews, I don't read
Right,
my press, I don't follow that because I'm human and it's gonna hurt me when people get shit wrong. So
right.
I just have
Yeah.
stayed very insular to that kind of thing. Somebody will say, "Oh, you got to read this," then I'll acquiesce. But I do not Google myself. I do not read anything that's written, pretty much. And if you're going to be an artist, you have to be ready to take the good with the bad, and I just don't want to. So I, I just refuse
Yeah,
to read or go into any of that thing. But yeah, that album in general was very introspective. It was very sharing of my personal thoughts and beliefs. And I wanted it to be acoustic. That's why we have the orchestra in there, the strings, the live strings. We kind of married the stuff from Mi Tierra in the Afro-Cuban sense, especially in the song Destiny, the first song on the album, where we have a guy that's actually kind of like a babalao kind of thing, delving into. And by the way, we don't follow that religion in case people get that wrong.
But we
I,
respect
re-
it.
I respect every
That's
yeah,
religion,
Hmm.
absolutely.
Pero
but I
los
have an issue
respeto.
with dogma in general.
Right.
So,
Yeah,
I kind of will stay away from that. But it's such a part of our culture as Cubans.
right.
And
Hmm.
I wanted to bring that into you know, this album. And as we go song by song, then I'll give you a little more background. But, George Casas, God
Yeah.
rest his soul, him and I were huge Beatles fans. So there's like a very Beatlesque sound on like the Heart Never. We'll go step by. I don't want to
Mm.
blow your order,
No, this is
You're not gonna blow
intriguing.
anything. We'll
but
listen
in
to whatever you
general
say.
terms, yeah, in general terms, it was
Yes.
meant to be very organic, very real, very experimental in its rhythms, very fusion oriented. And I just enjoyed so much singing that album that I think you can tell. I
Absolutely.
enjoyed
We
every album singing, but this was just like a little more home. I felt so
Mm.
solid after Mi Tierra and Abriendo Puertas and so connected to my roots. And we really wanted to bring that to the English language.
And you could hear it in your voice because I
Yep.
feel that there's something about your voice in Destiny that, I mean, your voice is incredible, of course. We
Thank
love
you,
it,
baby.
but in Destiny, you just brought something else, just the way that your vocals wrap around these arrangements.
There's a
It's just,
storyteller aspect to the
yes.
vocals that,
Yeah.
I was a lot more
Yeah.
free.
yeah.
Yeah.
What can I tell you? Time goes by and life gets into your music, or else you're in trouble, you
Yeah.
know? And look, I'm already blushing even from just talking to you.
Yeah. But it's funny
But
because you mentioned spirituality, and I know that Wes has a question kind of in that.
okay.
Yeah. So Destiny feels like a very intimate and spiritual album. Were you going through a specific personal or emotional moment that shaped its sound and lyrics?
You know what? Emily's birth had a lot to do with that because I was in like such heaven being a mom, and I took the time to spend the time with Em. I know we'd done Hold Me, Thrill Me when I was pregnant with her, and it was a great moment because, uh, I was so enamored and involved with my pregnancy that to celebrate songs that had made me who I am was just such a no-brainer for me. I know that it got a lot of criticism because I didn't change the songs too much, but to me, it was more of an homage than a reimagining. I didn't want to reimagine them because I
Right.
wanted to sing them in the way that they affected me. So I really wanted to do that. And this came on the heels of that. And it was just such a fertile time in my life. As a woman, the age I was approaching, or was I 40 already there? 96. No, I was a year away from 40. And to me, the 40s for a woman are just a magical time because you kind of your kids are kind of cooked. They're kind of
Yeah.
on their way. Although for me, being a mother with Emily was a little later than I planned. But I just felt so good in my skin. Like
You talk about that a lot, how you
yeah,
really,
Mhm.
really enjoyed your 40s.
De Fortis.
absolutely. And this was on the cusp of it. This was like, it was just a very special time as a woman on top of everything that was happening. And music has always been what makes me happy. So the songs that we created for this album, I was so thrilled to share. And I also partnered a lot writing, like with Kike Santander on one of my favorite songs ever, Steal Your Heart, I'm Not Giving You Up. He wrote only in Spanish. So it brought out something else in me as a songwriter, this album. It made me grow. And I just love growing. I love evolving and bringing all these things into, like, all these vivencias,
Yeah.
experiencias.
Sí.
So that's pretty much what was happening at that moment.
Yeah. It tickles me.
Como,
I just love hearing that, I was 13 when that album came out, and younger generations now. That's exciting for me that they're getting, going to your music and for the first time and hearing them and their experiences with it, and it's like, wow, that's really awesome. That
You're
means so much.
rediscovering.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
That's a beautiful thing because they're living in a kind of different era. So I know from my grandson that they are hungry for depth. They're hungry for organic. They're hungry for a simpler time. Nostalgia is big with them because it always is. Like what you have is not what you're interested. You want to find out, oh my God, the past. It's so interesting. It's so cool. And it's nice that they have that at their fingertips. So
Mhm.
that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
la verdad es que no sé qué tiene el disco, pero yo coincidía en edad con Wes, también tenía 13, 14 años, y en esa edad que tantas cosas pasan a tu alrededor, tu cuerpo cambia, las hormonas, todo. Yo recuerdo acostarme, ponerme la música, escuchar todo el disco entero antes de irme a dormir y era como una forma de catarsis. La verdad es que ese disco para mí fue lo
Qué
más, yo creo.
belleza. La música es un catarsis para mí, Laura. y que mi música pueda hacer eso para otra persona es un privilegio y una bendición. Y créeme que cuando lo grababa y cuando lo estaba cantando y todo, eso es lo que yo soñaba, que el oyente, la persona que iba a recibirlo, pudiera sentir lo que yo estaba sintiendo al cantarlo y
Sí,
al componerlo, al hacerlo. Eso es algo muy lindo, eso es un regalo muy grande para cualquier artista. Y poder saber que ustedes a esa edad, la edad de mi nieto ahora,
sí,
estaban sintiendo eso, es algo muy bello, es algo que it makes it all worthwhile, realmente lo hace, me hace sentir que todo vale la pena y es algo muy lindo, así que gracias.
That's awesome. All right, I think we're ready for a deep dive.
All right,
Let's
here we
do it.
go.
Let's
As
do
deep
it.
as we
So
can.
let's start with the title track. And actually, we have a question from Austin,
Okay.
from Spain, and his question regarding the title track "Destiny" was there actually? This is more of a general question, and we have a question from Barbie. But we'll start with Austin. Was there any song on Destiny that you initially felt unsure about including, but ended up becoming essential to the album?
Party time.
Really?
Oh, interesting.
Because
Interesting.
to me, it was all this spirituality and stuff. But then Emilio writes this song with Larry Dermer, and I trust Emilio, even though at whenever we're even at odds about something, I know that he's got a pulse on stuff. So my headspace was in Destiny, Steal Your Heart, I'm Not Giving You Up, Show Me the Way. That's where my headspace was. But when he wrote this song and I'm hearing it, I go, okay, absolutely. And there has to be a balance because if we only did stuff that I wanted, I know that some fans would be left out.
Got it. Okay, that makes
So,
sense.
See.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So that one, but that's why I like the album version more than the single because
Yeah.
it to
Yeah.
me
Yeah.
fit that
That
process. So
that's
yeah,
funny
Okay.
that you brought that up because that's such a that question's brought up so many times, and I love how you brought that up before anybody else did.
Yeah, yeah.
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 there you
So,
go.
as I mentioned, we do have a question from Barbie regarding Destiny.
Is that Cuban Diva?
Oh, yeah.
yes.
Ah,
Hola, Gloria. Hi, it's Barbie, Cuban diva Barbie from Naples, but now Winter Haven.
yeah, she's in
So I
flux.
hope you're well. My question for you is a lot of the fans have interpreted Destiny in different ways over the years. For some, it's a straightforward love song, while others, like me, feel that there's a deeper sense of longing, secrecy, and who knows, maybe forbidden love that was woven into it. When you
Absolutely.
were recording this song, what emotions or storytelling were you channeling?
I
Whose
was challenged.
destiny were you changing?
Still there. Okay, what was the last
Love,
one?
peace, and can't wait to see you at Basura. Ciao, ciao.
Yes, me too. All of the above. All of the above. Destiny, I believe that you can change your destiny, but I do believe that there are certain things in life that you are meant to face. And uh, those things are going to appear no matter how you may not want them to be there or yes. So it touches on all those things. If I were only to write from my experience, it would be, a lot less
More
uh
narrow.
exactly. And
Hmm.
for example, Diane Warren, who has written all these incredible love songs, she has never had a relationship, like a love
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
relationship. And her and
And
I were writing that together. And I remember that one of the most exciting lines that we wrote was, "The more you give, the more I need." We were all super psyched, her and I,
mm,
about that line. We were sitting together in Emily's playroom in my house. And, you have to think about so many things happen. And I tell people I'm married, not dead. All right. So, yes, absolutely. there's all these intricate emotions, and it's like basically the idea is that sometimes you're living your life and everything is going all along, and then all of a sudden this event happens, something happens in your life that you did not expect, and you're totally shocked and surprised by it, and you want to go with it because the feeling is so strong that you can't negate it no matter what happens. So yes, Cuban Diva, all those things are at play. And it is a love song because it's a love song about a love so deep that whether it can happen or not, you know, you can't stop feeling it. You don't want to stop that love having an impact in your life. Absolutely. And then again, in that that's one of the tracks that we really incorporated the the Afro-Cuban element of everything, which is really at the core of Cuban music. And we really were excited about putting that into that song. And there's a lot of desire, want, things that can't be but want to be. All of that is in that song. And Diane and I really loved writing that together. It was very different for Diane, that song,
Interesting.
because she does like straight up ballads, and but that kind of rhythm was really exciting to her. And it brought out a whole other thing in her writing. She doesn't write with a lot of people. And I feel really honored that that she is in this album. They invited me to do Reach for the Olympics, and she goes, I want to do an Olympic song. So she came in it, got in it, but she killed it as she does because she's an amazing songwriter. So
You guys, it's a journey. That song
Yeah.
is a journey from
From the
beginning
intro.
to end with the
Yeah.
du-du-du-du-du-du-du.
well,
Yeah.
he's actually saying like a Yoruba prayer. And
Oh, wait.
there's the water element because we are water. We are like 90 something percent water, our bodies. But water is such a cleansing force. And that song is really like a cleanse. It's like the celebration of the physical love that we experience in this life that makes us do crazy stuff. And that is incredibly strong. So he's actually doing a Yoruba prayer at the beginning, and that's why you have the water element and all these incredible acoustic rhythms and drums coming in. And then when that lush entrance, dun, 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 it's just like super
Ah,
sexy.
so
That
good.
Creo
song
que
is
ahora me
a
What
gusta más todavía.
sexy
one of
song.
the greatest songs ever, I
Oh,
have to
well,
say.
thank
Yes,
The
you.
I
best
agree.
intro to an album
That
ever
is the
written,
Yeah.
best opener.
in my
Yes.
opinion.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
by the way, on tour, it was one of the most enjoyable songs for
I
me.
missed it by a day.
Oh my gosh.
Ah, I missed
I
it.
just loved performing that song so much. It's a celebration of the delicious love that we experience in this physical world.
When you mentioned water, we got this little cassette in the fan club back in the day, and it was the Y100 interview, and you were saying that one of the instruments you used were like empty water jugs. And it's just
Yes.
fascinating, all the instruments and how organic this album was. It's
Well, listen,
fascinating.
that's how music started. If you think back, our original communication as human beings were they were drums that were created to send messages through miles and miles. So our first communication was percussion. It was things beating on a skin. And we wanted to celebrate that in this album. So we absolutely used all these things. And then later in the other songs, we'll get into the other influences. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's absolutely part of that song.
So we'll get into I'm Not Giving You Up. So you mentioned during an interview that I'm Not Giving You Up was first written in Spanish, and you
Yes,
rewrote the song in English for the album.
I
So
did.
fans have always wondered if you recorded a Spanish version, and if so, is there a chance of it
Hmm.
ever being released?
You know what? I don't think I did. I
Oh
don't think
wow.
I recorded it, but I'd have to dig back in the archives because Quique Santander wrote that song, like the music and the lyrics. He's an amazing songwriter. Um, I was excited about translating that because Spanish has got just so much more emotion in the lyrics. So my challenge was I want to bring this emotion, and that happened both in I'm Not Giving You Up and Steal Your Heart. I want to bring that same feeling to the English language. And I think you can only do that if you live in both worlds. Yeah, I don't ever just translate a song. I reimagine it in the new language because I feel very comfortable in it. And it was a challenge, especially Steal Your Heart and I'm Not Giving You Up. But they ended up being like, they took me to another level as a songwriter too. I grew writing those songs.
And
And yeah,
I've said this before that you're an amazing songwriter, right? That's why you're in the Hall of Fame.
thank
Yeah.
you.
But there's something about when you take a song like this Spanish version of I'm Not Giving You Up and the magic that you create with you can't say translating because you're doing more than just translating. You are
Never
re-envisioning
translating. Yeah.
you're re-envisioning this song, but the way that you did it in with I'm Not Giving You Up. I don't know what the Spanish lyrics were, but the way that you did it with these two songs, I'm Not Giving You Up and Steal Your Heart, it's just like mind-blowing that you had access to that vocabulary and that you created something so magical.
Well, it wasn't just access. I had to find it because I totally understood it in Spanish and it was so magical that I had to find a way. And by the way, it's very funny because, in the English language, there's such a thing, and I've talked about this, as being too sweet. They call you saccharine or too romantic. That doesn't exist in Spanish.
Right.
So writing that fine line into still being cerebral and still being in the moment where you are staying true to English, but at the same time bringing this magic of Spanish into that realm. And it was a challenge, but it was a beautiful challenge. I love challenges. I love it. I love something that,
Yeah. And you are
that
competitive.
works me.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm not competitive.
No?
Okay.
No, I don't care who wins, who loses, whatever. I'm competitive with me. I'm
Yeah, no, I
competitive.
can see that. Yeah.
Sure.
I can see you pushing yourself like all the way.
Exactly. I
That's the way I
always
am. Yeah.
I always think I can do better. And some songs come complete, like songs that came through me rather than from me. Uh, I rarely change a word on those. It's right from the get-go. I think we channel those songs from another realm and because they're supposed to be here. But there is such a thing as craft. And as I've gone later in my life, I've realized that, and especially with this project of Basura, oh my God, that this has been like an eye-opening experience. But there's always a better way, and you know which lines need to be better.
Mm.
It's not that Emilio has an uncanny thing where he'll go, "Oh, that's beautiful," but that line and that he always picks the one line that
Without you
I'm
mentioning
unsure
anything.
about. Exactly.
Right.
So yes, it's a beautiful challenge, and I love those kinds of challenges. To me, songwriting is the key. That's my core. All right, I sing since I talk. It's my way of expressing emotion, and it came with me. But in my core, if I had to choose between singing and songwriting, it would be songwriting all the way. It'd be writing. It'd be birthing new ideas that didn't exist. And most of my songs I've written between midnight and 6 a.m.
Mm.
because my kids were asleep, my husband was asleep, the phones weren't ringing,
Mm.
the channels are open in the hemisphere that I'm in because people are sleeping. So there literally is a bigger spiritual connection that can happen. And the airwaves are more open because most everyone is just out.
Yeah.
So, and the excitement to me was like whenever I had an idea for a song or something, every time I wrote one, I'd think, I can't do this again It's like when you're pregnant and you have a baby, you think, oh, hell no, I'm not doing this again. And then you do it. And that's how it is with the songs. The fact that at midnight there was nothing, and then by morning, when the light is coming into the world, there's this new baby. That's just so exciting for me. And that's when most of my songs have been written, quite honestly.
Speaking of songwriting, you have a song like Steal Your Heart, which is what we're doing next, and No Pretendo that are, I think, thematically different. How do you take the nugget, I don't know which one came first, and then
The Spanish came
transcribe the
first.
Spanish, so No Pretendo came first, and then
Quique
you write Steal
Santander
Your
wrote
Heart.
it. Yes.
Okay, so
But
how
think
did
about
that
that. In
change?
Spanish, no pretendo means like I don't take the liberty of thinking
Mm,
all these things about you. In English, that's not at all something that kind of fits into the scheme. So that's why it was, I'll steal your heart and set it free. And the lines are, I don't mean to be the teardrop, and I don't
yeah.
mean to be this, which is kind of the closest thing to no pretendo, right?
Oh, I just got
So
goosebumps with you just saying that
I
because
know.
you're talking about my all-time favorite song, period.
I love that song.
Hmm.
And like I said, I love No Pretendo. It's beautiful, but
Yeah.
Steal Your
Steal
Heart,
Your
the
Heart.
way that you just, it's magic, magic.
Yeah.
I love, I'm not
Thank
giving
you
you up.
so
I think
much.
you did such an amazing job with that, but Steal Your Heart, just, it's on another level.
Thank you so much. But it's what I feel about love. Because when I say I'll steal your heart and set it free, it means like I'm gonna make you mine, but I don't want you to be like mine in that sense. I don't want to possess you. I don't
Mm.
want you to be feeling like you're beholden to me or like you have to be a certain way. I want you to be who you want to be. So, and to me, that's what love is all about.
It's funny because our friend Luigi jokingly said that he wanted me to ask you, why did you write a song about open relationships?
Oh, you know what? Deep down
I know.
inside, I believe in that. And you know what? Not in the way that, you're thinking, whatever.
All
Yeah.
right.
But I really believe that if you truly love, then possession is the last thing that should be involved with that. And I would want the person to feel free, like Emilio, for example. I want him to feel free. Like that's songs like Anything for You that I wrote for him. Uh, it means like, okay, maybe if we don't end up together, I'm still gonna be here for you
Mm.
because I love you and and you're always gonna be that person to me. So I do. I think the way you're talking about open relationships, that's a can of worms
Yeah.
Right.
because people are complicated and it's complicated enough to
Hmm.
figure it out with one person, to figure it out with two. But like one of my favorite guilty pleasures is Sister Wives.
Oh,
And and I always knew that it was gonna end up with only one wife because it's just not gonna work. It's too complicated. So yes, in essence, I think love should be free. I think that we can love many people and that our souls have infinite possibilities to love and that we've loved many people along the way. And I think we find ourselves back into our lives together in different ways, like because I think we experience love from different perspectives. But yeah, he's not wrong.
Okay.
Absolutely.
so love should be free. Love is complicated, and yet the heart never learns.
The
Never.
heart never learns.
Never learns. So we have this is one of my favorite songs ever, but this is
Mine too.
Quentin's, I think, all-time favorite song of yours.
Oh, I
So
love that.
Quentin recorded a voice memo for us that we're going to play with this question.
Okay. Come on, Quint.
Hi, Gloria. This is Quentin Harrison. As you already know, I'm a very big fan of your work, and Destiny is obviously one of my favorite records of yours. But there's a particular track that I'm very interested in getting your perspective on called The Heart Never Learns. Now, this is one that you didn't write. You worked with George Casez and Lawrence Dermer on this particular track, but obviously you bring the lyrics to life with your amazing performance. But my question is that both lyrically and musically in relation to the production, I've always felt that this song has such a spiritual and romantic vibe. How were you able to sort of straddle those two elements in the song, both in terms of the lyrical sort of position of it as well as the production side? And if I can also say, before I let you go, the lyric from this track that's one of my favorites is as follows. It's the heart that will awaken all the senses, and the senses light up the soul. Thank you for all of the music that you provided to all of us, your fans, and just the world, and for being such a permanent soundtrack in all of our lives. Take care. Bye bye.
That's so beautiful. Okay, this song, written by George Casas, again, rest your soul, George. George was like my brother. And we had very similar loves, the Beatles,
Mm.
hardcore Beatles fans, which, Quentin, I want you to re-listen to this song and you will identify those Beatlesque harmonies, but done and then some. There's a zither, there's these very Indian instruments in there about the spirituality that you're mentioning in the song. And it was all very intentional. George had been, and by the way, we're a band, we're brothers and sister. You know, these guys to me were my family. So every personal experience that everyone in the band lived was very much a personal experience of all of us because we were living 24/7 on the road. We were a family. George went through some like serious relationship issues when we were writing this. So I sang it because I felt and I knew where he was coming from with this song. uh we purposely wanted it to be, it was almost like grand. We imagined, you know, like imagine like this Maharaji on an elephant, like walking in this parade with someone he loves covered in flowers, and that's where you heard "Da, na, 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 na." It has a very cinematic kind of arrangement, which was very purposeful. And it was a very big homage to the Beatles, especially the George Harrison kind of when they went to the Maharaji time in their lives. But it's about the fact that the heart never seems to learn. George had gone through some serious things. He'd fallen in love deeply. That went to hell in a handbasket. He fell in love again. That went to hell in a handbasket. And all of these things were a part of it. And I felt him. Like I really felt what he was going through. We lived it together. And that's why that song has both the spiritual intention, the homage to the Beatles, and the very, you know, painful thing that no matter how much love is a great thing, you keep falling into the same traps over and over sometimes. And the idea is to find a way to break free.
What a way to open up this album because you're going through that journey of destiny. I'm not giving you up. Steal your heart. The heart never learns. And then it's Chumeria time. It's
There we
party
go.
time.
Absolutely.
Like a
But
good
again,
Cuban, Gloria's there.
absolutely, it's party time, but
It's party.
listen to the lyrics in that song.
Mm.
Everybody knows it's party time. Why we live our lives in mystery when everything is meant to be. No reason here to wonder why. All that we seek is in the sky. You are the one I want to hold. I feel you deep inside my soul. So even then, in that, there is a spiritual message in the verses,
Absolutely.
regardless of the fact that, because yeah, we can have fun and we can party and we can have a great time, but still in there is that, you know, what's the second verse?
We
Oh
live
my
our
God.
lives in mystery, right?
When
When
everything
everything
is
is
meant
meant
to
to
be,
be.
no reason here to wonder why. Well, yeah, we went
All
into
the way to
that.
yeah.
What's the other verse in there? Oh, all day the world goes round and
Round and
round. We
round.
can feel the changes coming down.
Hmm.
No, change is coming down. No, oh
No
God.
reason here to wonder why all that we seek is in the sky.
Okay, you
You
are
are
the
the
one I
one I
want
want
to
to
hold it.
hold.
And then, yeah. Well, we have the peanut
Heather,
gallery
sing it
back.
for us, darling.
Let me tell you what's going on behind the scenes over here. We have Heather dancing in the kitchen, Emily trying to, well, she's trying to taunt me because she's been shimmying and trying to get my attention over here. And Emily's friend Groovy, who lives in Atlanta, he was in the Groove Dogs that Emily
The
played
Groove
in
Dogs.
the band.
Okay.
Mhm.
Exactly. So he's here too. So here I am trying to concentrate on you guys, and they're over there
And they're back
playing
there.
jam and
Hey.
trying to stay, quiet.
Well, we have
Could you all please come over here and at least just wave?
wave. We want to see
Come
Yes.
you.
over here 2 seconds. A release. Get over here, damn it. Come over here, you guys. You got to see the behind the scenes. Here's
Emily was on Destiny
Hey.
also. Hi.
yeah.
Hi, Emily.
Hola.
Hey, guys.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good. Lo quiero.
Ah, love you. All right, so we
Yeah,
have a voice note from someone
Okay.
that you may know.
Oh boy.
Hola, mi gente. Greetings. It's Steve Foster coming to you from the tropical city of Belfast, Northern Ireland. Hope everybody's well. So, my question for you and for Gloria is party time. Which do you prefer, the album version or the single version? I know what I do. Take care.
Yeah. I answered this before we started officially the podcast. I love the single version. Okay, don't get me wrong. It was great. I'm never going to put out anything that I don't like. But in my heart, the album version was the intention.
Yeah.
What happens is you have the intention and then you've got, the pressure from the record company and what's going on radio. And then you've got to create like a kind of dance version and everything. They were both fun, but if I had to choose, it would be the album version. Absolutely, hands down, always.
Path of the Right Love. So, Laura.
Yes, my favorite.
Yay, gracias.
Sí, quería preguntar qué te inspiró a escribir esa canción.
Ok. Path of the Right Love es mis creencias espirituales.
Por cierto, no sé si
Completamente.
recuerdas, no sé si
¿Perdón?
recuerdas, no sé si recuerdas que te pedí permiso para hacer un vídeo animado de la canción. Hace
Sí,
ya-
verdad que sí, quedó increíble, pero quería compartir mis creencias en una forma muy abierta, pero también como yo pienso sobre el amor. Y esa canción lo tiene. I want to kind of bilingual this because I know
Yes, yes,
I
yes.
want. Path of the Right Love is like what I believe spiritually, which is that we are all one, we're all connected. There is one love, which is what to me is God, like everything that exists. Um, Everything in that song is what I believe. Todo lo que hay ahí, and I do believe if we share this life, we must learn to share all its pain and strife. Estamos conectados, we're connected. And at the time, I had read this book because I've done a lot, I read a lot of metaphysics, spiritual books. I've read everything, and probably the closest thing to what I believe would be Greek Hermetic philosophy. There's a book called The All, which I really like click with. And this song is kind of based on that kind of belief that God is everything and everything that can possibly happen will, and then it comes back to God. So every possibility that can exist will exist. And I had read a book by this Indian guru, Mother Mira, that it really touched my soul. So at the end of the song, you hear there's a backwards prayer going on with all these like almost like if there were monks, and it's a general prayer because I wanted to every time that song got played, that prayer to go out into the universe. And then at the end is a quote from Mother Mira that says, aspire to your inevitable bliss, and all blessings will be given
All
you.
grace will be given you.
All grace will be given you. And that's what I feel like, that we must aspire to our higher selves and, who we want to be and who we should be. So that song is all about that and about what I think about love. that everybody talks about it, say the word so very loosely. Where we come from is pure love, which is God, the seed, and we're on our way back home. We're going to go back there. So it's all about kind of how I believe spiritually that we move in this world and beyond. And it was important for me, and I really designed it so that every time it was played, a prayer went out into the universe in that song.
Y esa versión en Live by Request
Ay,
fue
sí.
buenísima.
Ay, gracias. Me
Buenísima.
acuerdo de eso. Me
I like how you
acuerdo.
snuck that in there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ah, no, eso fue muy lindo este concierto en Live by Request. Me encanta eso, fue muy íntimo. Todavía me acuerdo lo que me puse. It was like un crushed velvet blue, like a vest.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Sí,
Yep.
That's a
sí,
big
Era ahí
sí.
en
deal.
los pantalones, me acuerdo, porque era como... Y me gustó mucho porque era un público chiquito, había muchos fans ahí y de verdad que me encantó. Ese es el tipo de cosa que realmente me gusta, estar en un lugar íntimo con los fans, poder compartir esas ideas de lo que era la intención de la canción. Pero sí, a mí esa canción es una de mis favoritas también que he escrito. One of my faves.
So Diane Warren was invited to write for the album.
Yes.
She's one of my most favorite
Well, she
people
kind of
ever.
invited
Yeah.
herself, but that's besides the point.
I just love her, and I loved her documentary. I just think
She's
she's
amazing.
amazing. Yes. What was it like collaborating with her on songs like Reach, Destiny, I Know You Too Well, and the next track, Show Me the Way Back to Your Heart?
It was awesome. I mean, Diane and I, first of all, we have a sick sense of humor. So I'm not going to go into it, but let me just say that the song I Know You Too Well, we wrote the parody. We finished the parody before we finished the song. We were in my writing room upstairs, which eventually became Emily's, room. And it was pretty sick. I can't share that because it's really dirty. But
I think we can fill in the blanks with
yeah, probably.
that.
What I love about Diane is like Diane is music personified. She does
Mm.
nothing else.
Yeah.
Diane has no other life than music. She will go into her writing room every day of her life and come out with a new song. I can't imagine that. I can't
It's fascinating.
imagine. I cannot imagine writing a new song every day, whether it's good, bad, indifferent, whether it gets on something or not. That is her goal. Diane also is deathly afraid of snails. In case you didn't know this, I don't know why I go,
Ooh.
Diane, it's not like they can outrun you. Like, why are you afraid of snails? She's got a really big beef with snails. And I remember kidding a lot with her because Emily at that time was like 2. And I would tell her, Diane, Emily is more mature than you at 2 years old.
That's
I
funny.
kind of became her therapist through the thing, and she will tell you that that's the case. She's just one of these brilliant souls that has this handle on hooks and writes in so many different genres. She's written for so many different people. She's written songs. Well, we know that she's been nominated, what, 17
Yes.
times?
17.
So
Yeah.
many times, yeah.
She won the honorary Oscar, but I know she wants the real
Yeah.
like song Oscar, and she will get it. I have no doubt.
Yeah.
But I really admire Diane. I love her. I love her. She's crazy, and she knows it.
Yeah.
And I feel blessed that I'm one of the people that she trusts to co-write with because she doesn't really like
Mm.
co-writing.
I
She's
remember
very,
saying that in the documentary. Yeah, and then
yeah,
that's the first thing I remember. Yeah.
yeah, she's insular. Like she's in her own world. And I get it because I'm also a very like interior kind of writer. A lot goes on in my head. And I'm sitting there writing, jotting things down, whatever, but the main process is not exterior. Emilio's a very exterior kind of writer. He
Mm.
will have like at this moment he had like 5 different writing rooms. He had 5 different writers, and he would pop in and say, okay, he's written all these hooks and things and ideas, and he'll give them to that one and he'll give them to that one. Part of it is his ADD. He can't sit in one place for more than half an hour or he'll get bored. So we are very different in the way we write. but he has also, like Diane, this uncanny way to know what people are gonna like,
Mm.
you know? And I listen a lot to his opinion. So it's beautiful. Everybody has their own process, you know?
Yeah.
And Diane and I together are dangerous. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah, well, yeah, I know.
Absolutely.
There's proof. There's a picture.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
absolutely. Oh, right.
Uh-oh.
The double birdie.
Yeah.
Yes.
I will tell you this. I don't know if you're gonna like this or not,
Uh-oh.
but there's a sticker of that picture, and it's
Why
gone
not?
all over the world. Anytime that we're pissed, we just send that sticker to them, to
And
whomever it
that
is.
makes me very happy.
It makes us very happy
Yeah,
too.
it
Yes,
does.
absolutely.
But complete opposite. We're going to talk about Along Came You now.
Oh, yes.
And first of all, Emily's debut recording,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
But
Absolutely.
what is
Happy.
that song, the songwriting process of that? How does that, as a mother, as a songwriter, how does that song resonate with you still?
Okay, so I don't like to push things. It's
Mhm.
never been where I'm going, oh God, I have to write a song for my kid. That never was the case. Naib's song happened very organically after my accident, and I was very frustrated with the news, which, hello, we're in the same friggin' place.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I
hello.
was very frustrated, and I realized that it doesn't matter what's going on. The bottom line is we're here for each other, and I'm gonna take care of you. And it talks about lately, my son. I've been, confused. I've been afraid. I've been all that, and that's still the case. But when Emily was born, I just had such a blessing to be able to spend every minute with her. And when she was 4 months old, one day, I had just finished feeding her and I put her in her little, seat and I propped her on my bed and I was just enjoying the beauty of her. And she was so expressive and just with the day she was born, she's smiling into the camera in her picture. Like she was there. You know how some babies, they're looking away. They look like they're still not here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Emily was here. Like if she came with a purpose. And I was looking at her and I grabbed my guitar and I sat there with her in front of me and I wrote the song. It was maybe half an hour to write the entire song. And it just poured out of me because I had experienced so much love in my life and I experienced so many things. But then here comes this little miracle, and I'm feeling all these different emotions and things. And that's what that song is about. And then I wanted to put a lullaby in there. So I purposely chose it's like a kind of a
Zulu.
Zulu, yeah,
Zulu.
a
Yeah.
Zulu kind of a tula tula sana, umama uyeza, because from the Cuban tradition of kind of like again that drume negrita, which
Mm.
again became for me, an inspiration for Sasha's song in the way that we did it. And it just poured out of me. I wish I could tell you that I planned it. I didn't. It was one of those moments that just, it was all about the emotion. And and I brought her into the studio with me when I was recording it. So I was holding her, and they would always, they always try to put a really nice vibe in the studio when I'm recording. So they had lit a candle in my vocal booth, and I had the thing, and I was holding her, and she said, happy, because she was happy birthday. And she was like
Aw.
really little. She thought, oh, a candle, it's happy birthday.
Oh,
And
Love that.
we were recording her. So I wanted her to be in the song.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
So I remember the first time that I'm listening to the album, Along Came You comes on, and it's such a just relaxing song. I ended up falling asleep.
It's a lullaby.
It's a lullaby.
So
It's
good.
so relaxing. So, puts you in this mood. I fall asleep. Y de buena primera sale. Here we go now. I could tell
There
you,
you go.
me cae when that.
It woke you up.
It sure as hell woke me up. So next song is
I love
Higher.
it.
And we
Tremenda
actually,
conga.
tremenda conga. We actually have a message or a voice note from Eduardo.
Hola, Gloria. Greetings from Thailand. This is Eduardo, and I would like to ask you a question about Higher. I want to know what was the creative process behind it and the intention of putting together those quite introspective lyrics with the Afro comparsa rhythm. And please tell us about the rap section that still today I don't think I'm able to repeat. Thank you. Love you always, Glo. Mwah.
Oh my gosh, that's so sweet. Okay, it's a conga. And again, a conga and all those Afro-Cuban rhythms come from a very spiritual place. So again, since this album was all about spirituality and depth and whatnot, even though this was a funky down conga, it's about reincarnation, this song. Higher is how each we feel like we should, every time we experience a life, we should learn from it. We should experience, what is it? I met a man today. What is it? And he was a liar. He walks a wire. Uh, Remind me because right now I can't remember the lyrics, but it is about experiences and how you'll go back to the end of the line. Like if you don't learn the lesson, you're gonna have to come back and relearn it in some way.
That makes
So this
so much sense. I never, ever
Nope. You're
put
busy
two and
shaking
two
your ass
together.
instead of listening to
I
the
was too
lyrics.
busy shaking my ass.
there
Exactly.
you go. But you can shake your ass and still have a message
There
behind
you
it.
go.
There, one thing does not negate the other. Wow, what is the first verse on that? Does anybody remember? Mama, do you
Sorry.
remember first verse of Higher? Uh, there is a no wait.
No, no, that
Oh
Saw a girl
God.
I
today.
have to
You could tell from what
wait.
you
I
I
have to
say.
put
just
my
listened
Look
to
it
this
up.
song
Look
a
it
little
up.
while
I
ago.
have to put my
And
glasses on. Give me
Wait,
one
hold on.
second.
I think I have it here.
Here we
Hold
go.
on. Let me look it up. Let me look.
I saw a girl today. Could tell
You
from
could tell
what
from what
she'd
she'd
say.
say.
She
That's
was a
different. Is that
liar.
the first one?
She
That's the
walks a
first one.
wire, which means like she's lying, so she's already taking
Hmm.
a chance.
I tried to make her see that this was not the way of getting higher, and then
Right.
she
There you go.
turned away.
And as I hear me now. Yeah. So it's all about trying to be better in this life. And when you're not, nothing wrong. You're just gonna have to start all over because you didn't learn the lesson. So that's
Interesting.
what that song is about. And it's interesting that,
Did not
that
know that. Look, 30
But I
years
love that.
later, 30 years later, we're
Isn't it
learning
fun to
stuff.
discover stuff when you don't,
Absolutely.
realize? Yeah, that's what that song's about, but
Wow.
it doesn't mean you can't. And then the part of the rap was really, it's early on, like for mixing rap into things, and it's very kind of Jamaican-y
Hmm.
kind of rap. But he's also talking about that kind of thing. If you listen to what he's saying, he just says it very fast and with an accent, so it's really hard to get.
yeah,
Our next song is "I Know You Too Well," which is my one of my favorite songs ever, and I can picture myself 7 years old in my childhood bedroom singing this song like I had a husband with a secret.
There you
Like,
go.
oh my God, it's one of my favorite songs ever. But despite that, we have a voice memo from Cece who wanted to ask Gloria about
Morales?
that song. Corrales,
Yes.
that's right.
Yep.
Yeah, go Cece. Come on, Cece.
Hi, Gloria. It's Cece from New Mexico. I was just wondering, what were the vibes like when you and Diane Warren wrote I Know You Too Well? And also, how long did it take you to write it?
I spoke about
Thank you
those
so
vibes.
much, and I love you.
Oh, I love you too, Cece. I talked to you about those vibes. We started with this song, and we had this idea for the hook, and we're sitting there in what ended up being Emily's room later, but it was my writing room, and we started writing it. We were really happy with what was happening, and then we just veered off into parody land.
Hmm.
And parody land was very dirty. So we finished the parody first, and then we went back to the song. But it's nice. It's about when you recognize that something's wrong in a relationship, but you can't quite pinpoint it,
Mm.
and they're not being honest with you, but you know it, and you're trying to have them feel, you're trying to bring out the truth from them. So that's what that song's about. We wrote it very fast. It was really very inspired. We wrote two songs very fast. That song and the parody. Yes, I'm not going to tell you what the parody is. You're going to truly be very
I got it.
disappointed or like it even more. I don't know, but not going there.
So the final song, the Spanish version of the final song. So, Puedes Llegar, the Spanish version of Reach, was released as a part of the collaboration with several Latin artists on the Olympic album. Can you walk us through that version, how that version came together, and whether there were ever discussions or recordings of a solo version? It's something that fans have been curious about for years.
Yeah. Well, we thought this was such a perfect collaborative song because, uh, we wanted other people's take on it. It had been great for us in English. It was the Olympic song. And I just thought that it was a no-brainer to have all of these incredible artists really like cheering people on. Because that song, by the way, it was daunting. When they asked me to write an Olympic theme, in my mind, it was like, oh, Olympic theme. Like, what the hell? I can't, like, I didn't feel that I was like cut out to do something like that because I knew it had to be this extravaganza and this great thing. So then I thought to myself, you know what? I am going to tap into what it took me every day to get out of bed after my accident. Because to me, that was an Olympic achievement. The day I was back on stage, March 1st of 1991, I felt after at the end of that show, I don't even remember the show. I remember starting the show, and I remember Emilio coming and picking me up in his arms after the show. But it was such a forget Euphoria, the show. For me, it was euphoric. I don't think I will ever feel that ever again because the accomplishment in my soul was so incredibly difficult and great for me. So then I thought, you know what? I'm just going to write a song that anybody could pick up their guitar and sing it like a folk song and write it from the perspective of what it felt to me to get past this incredible hurdle. And I know that that was my tie-in to the Olympic athletes because these athletes, for 4 years of their lives at least, usually it's their entire life since they're kids, but when they're aiming for an Olympics, for 4 years, this is like they are, they have to sacrifice their food, their life, their work, and all for this one moment in time that may end up really bad. And it's in front of the entire world. So I was really able to lock into those feelings in mirroring it with what I had to go through every day after that accident to talk myself into getting out of bed because I knew that if I didn't get out of bed that day, the next day was going to be that much harder. And if I didn't take those two extra steps, the next day I was going to go backwards. And I had to kind of do an auto hypnosis. So that's what that song is about. And, you know, talking about like some days are meant to be remembered. I'm channeling that day that I got back on stage and was able to reclaim my life. So anything that is really going to have legs and is going to resonate with people has to come from a very real place. What do I know from the Olympics? But I do know from what I had to go through every day. And that's what that song was focused on. So the Spanish version, we wanted it to be inclusive and have all these amazing artists be a part of this kind of like almost like you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. And it turned out that way because I remember he passed sadly, but there was a young man that was in a wheelchair. He was from Mexico, and he asked me to use that song for his documentary. It was this guy that really overcame a lot of odds, and ultimately he succumbed, but it inspired him to, move forward. And it inspired so many people. I've heard from so many people that it inspired them to retake, get a new lease on life, try to, okay, I can do this. So it's a very special song. And from the depths of my pain and, agony after that accident of having to find my way again. And that's why it's a very real thing. Of course, the video was all about the Olympics. And funny enough, I'm standing on that giant thing in the video. When we were shooting it, that giant thing fell over and there was somebody napping under it. But thankfully, it was in sand. And when the thing fell on them, it just squished them down. But oh my God, it was
I
one of
was
the,
there that day.
oh
That was
my,
at Crandon Park, right?
yes. Oh my
So
God.
I hadn't met you. At this point, I still hadn't met you yet. That was my dream to meet you.
Mhm.
I Crandon Park has, I think it's like two parking lots. It's like parking lot
Mhm.
A, parking lot B. And we pass parking lot A and we see a sign that says film crew only or something like that. And I was like, how funny would that be if Gloria's filming a video? And
You
we
didn't know
go,
it was me?
no. And we go to the next
Oh
parking lot. We
God.
spend the day at the beach, have fun, go home, put on Channel 7 News, and sure enough, the situation
Oh
Oh
my
my
with
Lord.
God.
what had happened
Crandon
that
Park.
day.
When I was a kid, I used to go to that zoo. I have pictures of me in that little zoo where they would press the little dolphins out of the plastic. I used to love the smell of the little plastic thing.
So you can
Yeah, I
imagine
have a,
how disappointed I was when I found out that we were in the same beach. I was
oh
like,
my
that was my
God.
opportunity, but the opportunity came at the right time.
That's right.
Destiny.
Destiny,
There
actually.
you go, baby.
But what a journey,
Yeah.
what a way to open this album. What a way to close it. So inspirational and everything between. Just it's a musical journey. It's a gift that you've given to us
Oh,
and
thank
one
you.
that so many around the world cherish. And I hope my hope is that people, this new generation or generations to come, continue to discover this album because it's one that just ages like wine. It's just
Oh,
it
thank
ages so
you.
beautifully and the way that you just it was so tastefully done. So there was so many intentions there that you could tell. It's obvious, and we're so
Everything I
grateful.
do is intentional. Every single piece of music that you have heard in one way or another is intentional. There has never been a moment where I went into, because I wouldn't allow it, into the studio and create something. Some things may hit closer to home, some things may not be your cup of tea, but it's always been intentional and it always comes from a very real place. And it always comes from this journey that I've been living, that everything becomes a part of my music. And that will always be the case. You will never hear anything that is just done because I had to, or because I had to fulfill a commitment, or because it was, requested of me. No, I refuse to do that because then it stops being art. It stops being connective, and everything's been intentional. So the fact that you guys really pour through this stuff and care enough about it to even ask or to,
Yeah.
it's a beautiful thing. I
Well,
appreciate that very
well,
much.
we thank you. I mean, what better way to end this season than with an album like Destiny, one that's so special and one that's celebrating 30 years this year. I know that we are way over time. So if you
The
don't mind,
full-grown human Destiny,
there's
30 years
That's
old.
right.
if you don't mind, since it is the season finale, we do
Let's do
want to
it.
test you. We
Oh
want to
God.
test you with a Let It Loose season finale
Oh,
trivia.
Lordy,
It's going to be
Lordy.
multiple choice. If you get the answer correct, we all
Mhm.
have to take a shot of whatever we have in front of us.
You heard it, you guys back there.
Okay.
If they get
Okay?
it correct, you need to take a
If
shot.
you get it
I'm
correct,
ready.
If I get it correct.
if you get
Oh
the answer
boy.
correct,
Oh
we have to
Lord.
take a shot. If you don't, you have to take the shot.
Okay.
All right,
Maybe I'll get
let's.
it
Because
wrong on purpose.
much to our
Exactly.
chagrin, you listen to our show, so you know a little bit about Let It
Oh,
Loose.
absolutely, I do.
Yeah. Well, fun fact, there was one episode, I'm not going to say which one, but there was one episode that I did not eat and I was drinking and I didn't realize, I forgot that I hadn't eaten and I was so drunk.
You got snockered.
I
It was
got so
about
He texted
snockered.
us
It
all.
was
It was the
probably a
Spanish
great,
episode.
probably a great episode.
It was great.
It was
It was
great.
about a
All right.
2-hour recording, but
It was. All right. So question number
Oh, and
one.
they had to put this damn question in there. I'm
Here we
never gonna hear
go.
the end of
Yes. Here we go.
That's right,
During
Wes.
the Kiss, Marry, Kill game, which album did Wes kill? Let It Loose, Destiny, or Unwrapped?
But I'm glad she
Unwrapped?
forgot.
No,
Oh,
I
wrong.
can never
See?
kill any
He
album.
killed Destiny.
He killed
That was my
Destiny.
first choice, but I thought, no, we're doing Destiny. They wouldn't ask that
So they
question.
give me three options: Gloria, Unwrapped, Destiny, and I'm like, I can't kill any of these albums. So I just had to come up with something, and
Wes, I feel you,
I would
baby.
never
Well, you know
never
what?
kill it.
You know what Gloria has to kill now?
Don't feel
Whatever
bad.
drink she has, you better take a shot.
Oh, what a shame.
What a
Yeah.
shame. Here we go. All right, Laura, you're next.
Okay, I'm next. What was the original backup title for the show? Music of Our Hearts, Everlasting Gloria, or Betcha Say That?
For the show?
For
For this
Let
show,
It Loose,
what was
the
the
podcast.
what was the backup title
Oh,
for
for
our
the Let
show?
It Loose podcast?
Mhm.
Wait, what were they again?
Betcha Say That, Everlasting Gloria, Music of Our Hearts.
Everlasting Gloria.
Mm-mm.
No,
God.
it was
My first one was Betcha Say That, but why am
Betcha
I
Say
not
That.
going with my first?
Betcha
You
Say
know
That
you
was
always have to go with your first answer. Oh, what a shame.
What
Here,
a
I need a
shame.
refill.
Drink up.
Uh-oh. Okay. During our Dangerous Game episode, Laura mentioned that she would love to see another collaboration with this person. Jerry Mitchell, Lin-Manuel Miranda, or Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep.
It was
I
Lin-Manuel.
would love to, but that was not fine.
Coño, I'm batting 1,000.
You're
Here we
doing
go.
this on purpose now.
Now
Uh-oh.
I'm going to be snockered.
There you go. I'm waiting for
Gloria,
my first.
I didn't remember that one either. There, don't feel bad.
I don't remember what happened yesterday at this point. I'm sorry.
All right, we have two more.
All right.
Wes, take it away.
At least I'm batting 1,000 on the
There you
wrong
go.
side.
So
Oh
who
my
was
God, we
the?
went bowling. Sorry, with the
Oh no,
the
you go ahead.
creative here with everybody, basura. I was so bad, but at least I was consistent. All right, go ahead.
Who was the very first guest on Let It Loose? Kevin Mernan, Ana Rojo Reno, or Jonathan Mates?
Jonathan Mate. God, what? Sorry.
It was Kevin Murnane.
Kevin Murnane.
I didn't think it was the first. I thought he was second. All right.
All right, and the last one. On the first Superfan episode, Sean Lyons shared that during the casting process for the Superfan show, producers conducted an extensive background check. When he received his copy of the report, he discovered they had uncovered information about his podcast he had at the time. For a moment, he worried they might not let him on the show because his podcast was about A, celebrity feuds, B, ghost hunting, or C, music and sex.
Music and sex?
Hey, finally!
There you go. Now we
no.
can finally.
Cheers, everyone!
Cheers.
Salud.
Salud!
¿Tú qué estás tomando, Laura? No estás tomando nada.
¿Qué es eso?
Sí, mira,
¿Qué estás tomando? ¿Qué es eso?
es vino dulce.
Ah, vino dulce, pero that's like dessert. Eso es postre.
Bueno, son las 9:30 de la
Es que es
mañana.
muy tarde. Es
I'm
muy
the
tarde en
only one.
España.
Ah, sí, ¿verdad? Para ti ya. No, pero ese azúcar no te va a dejar dormir.
Ya,
No,
ya lo
no,
sé.
I think the azúcar that's not going to let her sleep is you. Oh, okay. Well, that was fun. But we have reached the end of the show, and it's time for us to do our final Let It Loose. So we're gonna each share our Let It Loose. Gloria, you'll go last. And we're gonna start with Laura.
Ugh, ok. Yo quiero aprovechar el Let It Loose para agradecer a Carlos, a Rob y a Wes por confiar en mí y darme la oportunidad de colaborar en este proyecto, porque cuando Carlos comentó la idea, que él tenía muchas dudas, enseguida me ofrecí por si necesitaban a alguien con mi perfil. Pero al final es muy diferente compartir aventuras y desventuras, porque algún percance hemos tenido, a trabajar juntos. Hay que saber adaptarse a las personas, a sus métodos y procesos de trabajo. Y Carlos y yo teníamos mucha relación de antes, igual que con Wes, pero Rob y yo apenas nos conocíamos y tengo que decir que ha sido bastante fácil coordinarnos y llegar a ese punto en común entre todos. Así que estoy súper agradecida por su confianza, por su amistad, porque hayan pensado y decidido crear este canal para unirnos todos los fans, dejarnos conocernos mejor, a veces de manera individual o personal. Y por supuesto, agradecerte a ti, Gloria, por todo el apoyo desde el día uno, por tu sentido del humor, que todos aquí adoramos. Agradecerte tu tiempo. Sabemos que tu agenda es una locura. Y la paciencia, porque seguro que en muchos momentos dirás, madre mía. Y decirte que siempre has sido una inspiración en muchos aspectos, no solo por tu música, también como persona y por todo lo que nos enseñas cuando das tus entrevistas o cuando, por ejemplo, hoy en la conversación que hemos tenido. Así que gracias de corazón.
Ay,
Oh,
that's so beautiful. Qué lindo, gracias, Laura, de veras. Yo siento igual, yo pienso que lo más lindo es crear relaciones con personas que aman lo que uno ama y es una familia. En realidad yo pienso que en algún momento en otra vida yo fui un líder de culto o algo, porque no sé.
I love
Ay,
it. I'm still in
absolutamente.
it.
Yo creo que sí,
I'm
pero
still in
bueno.
it. All right,
You play
Rob,
conga
your
backward.
time.
It's my time, and I'm not going to look at her while I say this,
Oh God.
specifically Gloria Stefan, because I was walking home today from work and Mi Tierra Queman Shuffle, and I'm a little bit of a crier, but I'm not much of a crier lately. But I started to get teary because I thought about 4-year-old me, and I thought about that kid who made this song, Mi Tierra, and this album, Mi Tierra, his entire personality. And the fact that it taught me what it was to be Cuban American, it taught me what it was to be proud of where I came from. And I texted my mother, like, can you believe that this person, this little kid, is gonna talk to his hero today? And I started weeping.
Okay, now you're
Um,
gonna make me cry, damn
I
it.
don't want to make you cry because I can't look at you. But but the fact of the matter that, like, everybody says don't meet your heroes, but like don't meet your heroes unless they're Gloria Estefan, because
Oh,
every single interaction I've had with you, and today in particular, has just been proof in the pudding that I chose the right diva. When God assigns you a diva at birth as a gay person, he gave me you, and I could not be prouder to be a fan and to be on this journey with these three people who are my family. I'm so grateful to you for every single song you've ever given me, and the fact that you've been in my life for my whole life. I don't have a memory without you in it. Um, and that starts with Mi Tierra, and I, 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 I'm at a loss for words. So thank you.
you're killing me. You're
I'm
killing me,
sorry. Don't
Rob.
cry, please.
You're killing me. Crying is good. Crying is good. That's
I
so
brought the
beautiful.
tissues.
Oh,
All
Ay, Dios
right,
mío,
Wes.
Dios mío.
Wes, it's
That's
time to
gonna be
let
a
loose.
hard one to
Oh, ah.
that's gonna be a hard one to follow up on, but yeah, very similar. Yeah. This past year has just been amazing because, I haven't, little 7-year-old me listening to watching the homecoming concert over and over again. Never in a million years would I have thought that, I would have been able to do what I've done with that are the party that you invited us to in last May was phenomenal. I was walking around, Carlos, he can vouch for me. I was like, kept walking around, like I felt like I'm not even supposed to be here. This is just unbelievable.
Oh my God.
And just those just this entire year has just been amazing. And, going to Chile and meeting Esteban, who's been a friend of mine online for 25 years for the very first time, and going to the concert, with him and seeing you was just, it's been unbelievable.
Oh my
Unbelievable.
gosh, you guys are killing me. I can't take this.
Oh my God.
Good Lord.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
Is that you now? Or
Right.
is that
It's
me?
you
Yeah,
now.
I don't know if I
He's been
could.
trying this whole time.
I don't know if I'm gonna be able to.
So am I.
All right. So, oof, here we go. Let's start with the
The
war.
cry fest. Let's
The
all
cry.
cry together.
All right. So, I had to write mine down because I wasn't sure if I was gonna get through it. So, um, my Let It Loose is a huge thank you to so many people, to everyone in Let It Loose land who gave us a chance and listened to our show, from so many corners of the world. We're so incredibly grateful. Um, to everyone here, oof, here we go.
Okay, I
uh,
need a drink for
Uh-oh.
that one.
to everyone here in this video, uh, the Let It Loose crew and Gloria, you all know that I went into this scared and intimidated, and each of you had faith in me, even when I didn't have faith in myself. Um, thank you for pushing me, for not taking no for an answer, um, and even for making me eat raisins in my picadillo.
Yes, raisins.
um,
Vindicated she is.
Gloria, thank you so much for trusting us. I hope you've felt all the love coming from around the world because it's been very real. And we love you to the moon and back.
And I love
Uf,
you to the moon
Carlos.
and back.
Oh,
And I mean, there's just so much that I could say, but first let me say thank you because the fact that anyone would care to even do something like this is such a miracle. Um, in my in my little Gloria heart as a kid, I never could have imagined something like this being possible. And I look at social media with trepidation, but of all the beautiful things that have come from social media, this is one of them. It's connection. And sometimes social media can disconnect, but this is connection because you're all talking together. You've created a family that I am so appreciative of and so thankful for. For an artist to have their music be able to touch people's lives is the ultimate privilege. And I thank you for that. I don't take it lightly. I think about all of you and the ones that I know that I can name, like you in this podcast, and so many fans throughout the years that from since they were little, I know now as adults and are indoctrinating their kids, which thank you very much for that, by the way. I really
Yeah.
appreciate that.
O a los sobrinos.
Los sobrinos, los
O los
hijos, que
estudiantes.
sea. Agradezco tanto esta oportunidad de poder compartir ideas, de poder compartir pensamientos, de saber que cuando yo creo algo, alguien lo va a escuchar y que lo están apreciando, porque uno lo hace, pero nunca sabes si va a llegar, ¿no? You never know if what you're intending is going to reach you. And the fact that you have given me that beautiful blessing of knowing that it reached you and that it impacted your lives somehow is the biggest privilege and blessing that I could ever hope for. I told you from the get-go, do it. Because if it's something you want to do, just do it. Do it. Don't ask permission. Don't worry about what's going to come. If it's something that you want to do it. And I so appreciate the love, the support of not just me, but my entire family, because you all have been supportive of my whole family and everything that we do. And I want you to know that I feel it. It it really impacts me and it fuels me for everything that I do. And even with this new project, knowing that you're going to be able to hear it and know that it's coming from the heart, not only my heart, but Emily's heart, because the fact that we are together in this, the fact that I dreamed when I was pregnant with her that one day I would write with my daughter or that I would sing with my daughter, not knowing what little person was coming, and that you have all been so supportive of her and of my son Naib and of my grandson and our whole family of Emilio and everything that he's done. There's nothing but thanks coming from me and love, so much love to all of you. I appreciate you. I thank you for the sacrifice that you make in your lives to do this because I know what it takes. And I really am ultimately thankful for all of us being in this together because I know we've gone through many lives, like I told you. I think we've been
Oh yeah.
connected through centuries. And the fact that we are now here together is so special for me.
You're not
So
tired
thank
of me
you.
already?
Never. Are you
And
kidding me? I live for you guys
Even
and
when I
for
tried dancing with you and I almost
yes.
knock you over.
That was great.
I love everything. I love everything you guys have done for me and about me and even just for yourselves because I'm hoping that that's the ultimate message that it can become a part of your lives and that you make the life that you want for yourselves because I certainly have done that thanks to you. And I appreciate that very much. And all of you out there in Let It Loose Land, thank you so much. I can't thank you enough. What can I tell you? There's no words. There are no words. And I will continue to honor you by still being in it every moment and by offering you only what is from my heart. Absolutely.
And we love you for that. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so
We love
much.
you so
And
much.
I
Thank you
have
so
to add
much. Oh, go
something
ahead.
to that was I couldn't get through but I have to add it.
Mm.
So Gloria, that guy right there, all three of those people. But Carlos, when I brought this up to him, he said no because he was shy, right? Remember I told you that?
Shy?
Yeah.
Can you believe?
And he said no
No,
because
I
I was
cannot
shy.
believe.
And you told me in Chile, what? He said he was shy? But I mean, I come up with this idea, and I never imagined, that this would happen. And I was like, I couldn't do it without him. There's no way. But this guy has made, he even asked me for my work schedule to work around me to make all of this work.
Because you
And
do the important work, baby.
yeah, and when
Come
I have the
on.
crazy, crazy schedule, which is all over the place, but he has made everything for me like perfect this past year. I can't thank him enough.
We have a
But
good
yep,
team. We have a good
yep,
We
team.
do.
And how
yep,
beautiful that we can share this.
yep. He's
It's
been
just
Yes.
beautiful. I'm so
yeah,
appreciative.
it's been a blast for
I know
sure.
your lives are complicated. Carlos has a huge family that he's got to take care of. You
Yes.
are taking care of
Yeah.
the world. Laura, gracias por todo lo que tú has hecho. Rob, thank you so much. The fact that I've been in your life since you were a little kid, you know how special that is to me? I mean, you can't even imagine hearing those words, what that does to my heart. It makes it grow like what was that? The Lord,
The Grinch, his heart grew 3 sizes.
that one, the Grinch. My heart has grown 10
Oh
sizes.
my God.
It's out of my chest. And I so appreciate you, all of you, and thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time. Time is, important in the
Yeah.
in the world. We don't have a lot of it. So the fact that you dedicated to me is so appreciated and thank you. Thank you all.
And
You're gonna
speaking
do
of,
another season, right?
uh, oh,
What?
You have to ask Carlos about that.
You know what? Let me say this.
I,
Okay.
Even if you decide that you can't do this, what you have done already is just such a gift to me that I appreciate it. And I also understand
Mm.
how things are difficult. So no worries if you don't, but
here's
thank you for
here's
what you've done.
Here's the thing. There's no way that I would want to miss out on what we've created, what we've accomplished, and just seeing ever since we started this show, all of a sudden, everyone started coming out of the woodworks and everyone started, posting videos and all this, throwbacks and memories, and to see the fandom kind of come to life again has been one of the most special things that I've seen. And absolutely, there's going to be a season 2.
Let's
Yeah,
hope it. And you got
absolutely.
basura, baby. You're
That's
gonna
right.
analyze a lot from
I
that
can't
thing.
wait.
I can't wait, and I'm
It's
not
like
a
a
guy.
new album, but with Emily and I together. So
That's awesome.
imagine all these years that you've followed me. Now you're gonna have a whole new music from Emily and I together.
And
And
we're so
I
excited
promise
for
I
that.
you,
can't wait.
you are
Wow,
going
we
to.
cannot wait. Wow, that's awesome.
And that's
I
what I
cannot
wanted.
wait
I
either.
wanted us to build a community, to bring our communities tighter together. And I think that's what we've done with this first season. And I'm so grateful. I'm going to wrap up this episode with just gratitude. I can't believe that all this happened, and what a perfect album for Gloria to be a part of. Our next album breakdown is going to be such a flop because Gloria won't be on it. So we'll be like, what the hell?
Okay, you can send me questions if you have like
That's right.
something.
If you like this episode, please give us 5 stars. If you didn't like this episode, what the hell is wrong with you? Because Gloria
5
Este-FAN
stars.
is on
Exactly.
our show. So, like, hello, you like this episode because you're a Gloria fan.
By the way, where the hell do you put those stars? Because I've been trying to put the 5 stars.
You have not rated us?
I can't find
How-
where to friggin' rate you.
You
I actually don't know.
you have an assistant on the other side of the computer.
He couldn't either.
Ay, Dios mío.
Where do you
Oh my
do
God.
that? Where do you rate?
I'll
Once
send
you figure out where to put 5 stars, give us 5 stars. Follow us on social media. Email us at letitloosepod@gmail.com. And let's keep the conversation going while we're on break, because our community is growing and growing and growing. And we're so grateful to all of you. And we're so grateful to Gloria for being with us for as long as she's been with us, and to our team. What a great first season. I'm so grateful. Thank you,
Me
everybody.
too. Besos a España, los amo y todo. Todos los países que hablan español, los amo, los adoro. Están en mi corazón. Gracias, Laura. Thank you
Gracias a
all.
ti.
I love you.
Thank
We
you.
love you too.
Cheers.
Thank
Thank you so much.
Hasta
Thank you.
luego. Just take a second to breathe.
Hey!
Ay, se
Ay.
formó la fiesta.
Oh,
Se
goodness.
formó.
Eso.
I already started
Hello.
playing this game before you.
Oh, man.
Oh, okay. I didn't know this was a drinking podcast, but we're ready to go. Okay.
Salud. I'm drinking wine that Emilio left because he went
Cheers.
back to Miami today. Salud to you
Cheers.
all.
Salud.
Congratulations.
Thank
How
Thank
are
you.
you?
And to you.
Felicidades. Hola,
Gracias.
Laura.
Hola.
¿Cómo estás?
La pobre
Bien,
she's
a pesar de la hora que es. Sí, sí, perfecto.
Entiende todo lo que pasa aquí. Last night I wanted to kill him because after the Nobu dinner, she made us watch Hereditary. Have you ever seen that movie?
No.
Oh, lordy, lordy.
I don't watch anything scary. Nothing
I
scary.
don't get scared easily. And by the end of the thing, it was already late when we started. I don't know how I talked her into it because then she passed out because she'd already seen it. Heather and I, my cortisol levels were through the roof. My heart was pounding by the time I went to bed.
Really?
I wanted to kill Emily.
Te ve muy linda.
Oh, thank you, baby. You good?
Yeah, you look great.
Working hard
do.
every day. I glorified myself a little bit for you guys after.
We try to glorify ourselves
Oh,
too,
please.
but there's nothing.
If I can't answer, I'll do this.
It's
There you go. That's right.
That's
Hello, baby.
Till next time.
The next
You're not
time.
soon.
cheering, Wes. You have to work tomorrow. That's what
I
it
have
is.
to work tomorrow. I have
Well,
Gatorade 0.
Good for you. Be responsible.
Yay!
Quiero.
Thank you for listening to Let It Loose, a Gloria Este-FAN podcast. Let It Loose was produced by Carlos, Rob, and Wes, with graphic design by Laura. Thank you to Gloria for bringing us all together.